Unlike the E3 trailer, when GTA 3 actually released, it blew people's minds. While as stated, games like Driver 2 and Shenmue had existed as 3D open-world games before, nobody had ever seen anything quite like this. Liberty City was a sandbox at the player's disposal, and while it means virtually nothing now, it was new in 2001. Reading reviews from game critic outlets from when GTA 3 released is really interesting. People didn't really know how to describe what they had just played. While other games around this time were releasing, such as Halo, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Super Smash Bros. Melee, this caught people's attention the most, specifically in the media, both good and bad. Again, people had never seen anything quite like this before, and as a result, it ended up stirring up a lot of controversy. The "do video games cause violence in real life" debate has been present both before and long since this game hit the shelves. Games like Mortal Kombat, Doom, and Splatterhouse had stirred up ridiculous amounts of controversy already, and the top-down era GTA games did drum up their fair share, by which I mean there was one guy who was really pissed about them and he turned out to be a pedophile, but it was nothing like this. A large part of the controversy stemming from GTA 3 came from the same place that controversy about GTA does now, and that is the freedom that the player is granted to take the sandbox and do whatever the fuck they want with it. At the time, in spite of more mature releases coming out more than they ever had, video games were still looked at by the media and mom groups as something that was generally for children, so the idea of a video game where the player can steal cars, kill civilians, kill cops, cause mass destruction and blow shit up, pick up a prostitute and run her over to get your money back, that was a big one by the way, in a city that was quite realistic and lively for its time was just simply unheard of. This game came out 41 days after 9/11 and about 2.5 years after Columbine, so certain people were just flabbergasted by some of the things you could do in such a realistic world for the time. This was the start of a long run of Rockstar releasing controversial title after controversial title, with every new game managing to push the boundaries of people's comfort more and more, to the point where the GTA franchise became the poster child of video game controversy. It all started here with Grand Theft Auto 3. Through dozens of articles, complaints, and even a spot on the news with NBC Live.
Since it was released 9 months ago, Grand Theft Auto 3 has sold 3.5 million copies at $50 per. It carries a rating of M for mature audience, indicating that its content is unsuitable for persons under 17. But that, of course, has only made it more tantalizing to teens under that age.
The game was actually banned in Australia for a bit, although Rockstar eventually got them to allow a modified version of the game with the gore and prostitutes removed. This was the first time since Mortal Kombat and Doom that a game that was so down to earth with its realistic violence was so popular, and Rockstar crossed a lot of lines to make this game the way that it is. While future games in the franchise would end up being much more controversial than this was, it gave Rockstar a lot of humble beginnings type of publicity at the time, which they were able to leverage. While anyone with two brain cells to rub together knows that video games don't cause real-world violence, there was a specific incident in 2003 where two boys took their dad's shotgun out into the woods and fired in the direction of a freeway. A stray shell hit a moving driver and killed them instantly and wounding the other passenger. Now, the reason I bring this up is because the families of the victims filed a lawsuit against Take-Two, Sony, and for some reason Walmart, whilst being represented by infamous lawyer Jack Thompson. The name Jack Thompson is synonymous with the Grand Theft Auto franchise and its surrounding controversies. He had already grown to have a bit of a notorious reputation as a lawyer, with his initial claim to fame being his fight against hip-hop and NWA. Jack Thompson was not very good at his job, but that didn't stop him from being involved in nearly every single controversy involving Rockstar and this franchise for the next 7 years. You name it, and this guy was probably here in a very old man yells at cloud type of manner. To this day, so many controversies about real-life tragedies seem to needlessly try to involve video games in some way, and GTA 3 really perpetuated that at the time, and Rockstar manages to keep pushing those boundaries in a very satirical way over 20 years later. It's honestly just as impressive as it is almost bizarre. People found it fun to do the things you can do in GTA 3 because, again, this had really never been seen before. Driver 2 had no gunplay, and the world didn't really feel very alive, not to mention the game played slow as ass, but GTA 3 was different.